Oh man, this is tough, but I understand your pain. I completely get it. I've been through it too. Do you ever just think to yourself, I can understand English fine. My grammar is good, my vocabulary is decent, but I just can't seem to speak. What is wrong with me? Do you ever think about that? Of course you do. Because the reality is, everyone does. In this video, we're gonna address this issue and break it down and find solutions that will work for you. So get comfortable and pay attention. Welcome to English with Venya, a channel where we level up and never look back. And you can understand English fine, but you can't speak it. But that's not a problem. When we think about this predicament, I'm gonna try to avoid using the word problem because it is not a problem. It's just a stepping stone. It's a part of the journey. But when we think about this idea of not being able to speak, there are two main problems. Well, causes, reasons for it. And the first reason is lack of confidence, of course. It could be confidence issues. You're not confident enough, right? And number two is lack of practice, or both, honestly. So the tips I'm gonna give you today are aimed at both your confidence issues and your lack of practice. We're gonna kill two birds with one stone. Well, you can't say that anymore. What's the new saying? Is it feed two birds with one scone? If you guys don't understand what I'm talking about, I'll make a separate video about it. But basically, we're going back and changing some outdated expressions to make them nicer and more. I hate using the term politically correct, but that's what it is. But it's just nicer, because killing birds is not nice, but feeding birds is very nice. Anyway, I'll make a different video about it. Let's not get distracted. So tip number one, you need to understand and really get it through your head that there is nothing wrong with you. This is normal. Don't punish yourself. It is fine. My counter question to you is, did you really expect it to be easy? Because if it was easy, sorry, I'm being conversational here. This is not proper grammar. I'm just talking to you. I'm not really teaching you anything like grammar or nothing. So I'm just speaking casually like I do in everyday life. But if it was easy, everybody in the world would be walking around with perfect English. But that's just not the case. And that's fine. So don't punish yourself. You just simply need a little more practice. Don't be pessimistic. That's the main thing here. You know, this tip number one. Because instead of saying, oh, this is so hard, this is so difficult, I can't do it, you can say, oh, well, I'll keep practicing and it'll be easy. You know what I mean? Just, it's a mindset shift that allows you to just get in a better headspace to produce more results. And instead of saying to yourself, oh, I'm so bad at English, my English is so bad, say, I've come so far. I just need a little extra push. That's it. Then you're not lying to yourself. That's the truth. It's the same thing, just from a different perspective. If you only have space in your head for one thing to take away from this video, let it be this one. Your ability to speak English has absolutely nothing to do with how smart you are. Trust me, there are so many people that speak perfect English and they are dumb. And there's a lot of smart people that have amazing grammar, amazing vocabulary, but just can't speak because they can't get over the hump. I'm willing to bet that many of you guys actually know more grammar or know grammar better than a regular native speaker. So your English skills and being smart or dumb, they have nothing in common. They are separate things. Tip number two, and I talk about it all the time, many people talk about it, and I've actually done it for years when I was learning English. And that is talking to yourself. Sounds crazy. I mean, it's 2023. Everything is fine. But talking to yourself is a really great way to practice because there's no conversational pressure that comes with that. Nobody's waiting for your response. You can take as much time as you need to think, and you can actually go into whatever topics or imaginary situations you want to get into. Maybe you're teaching a class, or maybe you're giving an interview, or confessing your love to your crush, or whatever the case may be. Do that. Don't feel ashamed or embarrassed. Just do it behind closed doors and you'll be fine. Here's the thing. There are two main sides of your English skills. There's the passive skills and then the active skills. And your passive skills are basically your receptive skills, the way you are able to receive the language. You watch YouTube videos, you watch Netflix, you listen to podcasts or audiobooks, or you read books or social media posts or articles, whatever the case may be. It's the way you consume English, right? It goes in, just like that. And you've been doing a lot of that, a lot, which is great because this is very important. You get to hear it a lot, you get to see it a lot, you get to explore new vocabulary, grammar, you can look at sentences. It's amazing, right? It's amazing. So don't stop. But there's also your active skills, which is the way you produce or generate language, which is speaking and writing, and any way the language goes out. So there's in and then there's out, and your speaking has to do with the out part of it. And you always want to strive for a perfectly balanced English where all of your skills are on the same level, but obviously you're watching this video and you believe that your speaking is lacking, so you need to focus on the out more. But for tip number 2, we're going to bring something from the in category to help you with the out, which is reading. So when you read out loud. That's true. It's a great way to practice for free. And when I say for free, I don't mean, I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about your effort and brain activity. Because in order to speak, you need to create thoughts and ideas in your head to, make the language come out of your mouth. But if you read out loud, you're still saying stuff, but the ideas and thoughts are not yours. You don't have to create sentences, which is a great way to just get used to hearing your own English and just building up that muscle memory of just the action of speaking English. It may not make sense to you, but it is a great way to work on your confidence, because the more you hear your own English, the more comfortable you get with that idea and concept, and it really carries over to the out side of things. The next tip is finding someone to practice with, and you actually don't need a native speaker. You really don't. It's not necessary. What you need is a human being, a person who speaks English. So what I can suggest to you is another student just like you. That will actually be way more helpful, because a native speaker oftentimes can't really tell you what you're doing wrong, or I mean, they can, but they won't. And if they do, they can't really explain why. And that might leave you more confused. And you don't want to be confused. You want to be confident and you want to feel beautiful and sexy with your English. So confusion is not something we're looking for here. Leave the native speaker stuff for later. Talk to native speakers when you're not trying to practice or learn English. Talk to native speakers when you actually want to talk to that specific person. But with a fellow student, you can actually help each other out. It's a very productive partnership. Everyone has their own weaknesses and strengths. You can also find a buddy to relate to, share English language memes, make English learning jokes, and it's great because it takes the pressure off. Learning English or learning a language could feel like such a lonely process. English specifically, because a lot of people in the world are learning it, right? And you feel lonely, but also pressured by everybody else at the same time. And you really want to find some people that you can relate to and they can relate to you, and you have that, sense of community. So there's no reason for you to be alone. You can open up and really get over any pride you might have in that regard and share your journey with someone, because as a language learning community, we all need it. Another tip I have for you is pretty cool, but we're going back to the in part of it, the receptive skills, which is we already talked about reading out loud, but now also read more. Read more, because here's the thing. Let me try to make it make sense. The more you read, as I said, reading is something that is free for your brain, which is why it is great to remember what it feels like to be able to speak English without, your head spinning too much or your brain working too hard. And that is a great way to get out of the habit of translating in your head, right? You read something and the idea, the thoughts, and the text flows, and you continue going with the flow, and it really helps with the mindset. Again, it's a mindset shift, and also a bit of muscle memory, because you really want to get away from translating in your head, because that slows you down, that confuses you, that frustrates you, and you don't even know it. And the last tip for today is don't worry about perfect English. Just focus on producing results. If you're one of those people that says, if I'm not sure it'll be perfect, I'm not gonna say anything at all, well, you're in for a really tough journey that you will probably quit soon anyway. Your English will truly be at its best when you allow yourself to take risks and make mistakes, because when you make mistakes, you learn from them. So when you're practicing speaking or writing in English, the output skills, forget about grammar, forget about vocabulary. Just do whatever it takes to communicate your idea. Your goal for practicing speaking is to practice forming and expressing your thoughts and ideas. And whether it is done correctly or not is something that you worry about later when you sit down to study grammar. It can be a grammar practicing activity if you want it to be, if that's what your intention is. But right here, for the purposes of this, we're speaking to be able to speak better, training the muscle of speaking. And that's it. There's nothing wrong with you. Just keep doing what you're doing, or do more if it applies to you. Let me know in the comments down below what you want to see next and what you want me to talk about in the future videos. And as always, I have another video for you to watch, and it's pretty cool, and I think you will like it very much. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and give this video a quick thumbs up if you liked it or found it helpful. This has been English with Venya, a channel where we level up and never look back. Until next time, peace.